Remember when we discussed the behavior chain? It is a progression of events that starts with a trigger, leads to a thought, is followed by a responsive behavior, and ends with a consequence. So it should be no surprise that old habits are the only natural behaviors to any behavior change. To reach our recovery goals, we must act effectively, focusing on what works best for a particular situation, rather than whether it's right or wrong is the main objective here. For example, in a restaurant, yelling at the server if you received the wrong order after you repeated it 3 times may make you feel vindicated, but is it effective? Chances are you would feel much more satisfied and at ease if the server quickly corrected the error and didn't feel intimidated by you. In our video on how to use chain analysis, the goal was to break down problematic behaviors by looking at all the factors leading up to or made you vulnerable to acting unfavorably. In today's video, however, we will look at a systematic tool called Missing Links Analysis, which identifies any effective actions that are missing when you engage in unwanted behavior. The conduct that is often missing can be broken into 2 categories: needed behaviors and expected behaviors. Using coping strategies to calm oneself down after a stressful encounter is an example of a needed behavior. Alternatively, a needed action might mean addressing a specific issue, such as how will you make it work when you're out of gas and you have no bus fare. On the other hand, when it comes to expected behaviors, these are the things you've agreed to do, have been told you must do, have planned to do, or have fervently been hoping to get around to doing. Examples would be making it to an appointment on time, paying an outstanding bill, organizing the utility closet, or exercising each morning. Analyzing situations where effective actions are lacking can be beneficial when recovering from addictive behaviors or attempting to change any undesirable behavior. Missing links analysis assists us in determining where we went wrong. You identify the point in the behavior chain where you could have acted more effectively and repair that link, strategize, and problem solve. Sometimes you can simply choose to respond to a stressor effectively rather than emotionally or habitually. Let's take a look at Peter. He was just fired from his job. Even though he is in recovery from addiction, this situation only makes him want to use again. Becoming unemployed was the last thing he expected after getting sober. He starts thinking about his responsibilities and the grueling job hunt ahead. He thinks substance will make him feel better than feeling angry, hopeless, and sad. So eventually, he acquires his drug of choice to numb, escape, and lift his mood. But the euphoria he feels is short-lived because regret and guilt quickly set in when he realizes how he has ruined his sobriety. Drug tests are a real possibility, especially now that he'll need to start applying for jobs. He feels worse than he did before. But let's not focus on whether Peter's behavior was right or wrong. Our attention during a missing links analysis is on whether his response was skillful and effective. To do that, Peter must ask the following 4 questions. Did I know what effective behavior was required at that moment? Yeah, I think so. I could have done some deep breathing exercises or a mindfulness meditation to calm myself down. I could have even taken a long walk. Did the thought of doing one of these effective behaviors ever enter my mind? No, I guess it didn't really. I just wanted to get high. That's how I've always dealt with bad news. I didn't think twice about being sober. Was I willing to do an effective behavior? Yes, absolutely. I would have been willing had I thought of it at the time instead of wasting my money knowing I don't have an income now. What got in the way of doing the effective behavior? I'd have to say it was my overwhelming emotions. I was fearful. I felt frustrated and angry. One of the first things I remember thinking was how no sooner had I started to finally get my life on track, this had to happen. I was devastated. My emotions were so intense I couldn't think straight. To behave effectively, you want to be mindful of your emotions, but you must focus on what will work for you and not against you in a given situation. If you act with effectiveness while reaching for your goals, you will always receive more positive outcomes than if you behave emotionally. It's a skillful practice, but the more you become aware of missing links in your chain and the factors that lead to unwanted behaviors, the easier it will become to change those behaviors for good.